Hello YouTube, Sam here from youtube.com/onlivegamer for the new Boston, and in this tutorial we're going to continue working on the log for our game. So as I was saying, what we need to do is create an array that will hold the values of the damage for each one of the attacks. So we'll just go ahead and make a public read-only array, and we will call it attack damage. And then we'll make it an integer. And now we're going to set it equal to something. So we will set it equal to our damages. So 5 for punch, 10 for kick, and 15 for an anchor throw. So now that we've created our array that holds the values of each of the damages, we can come down here into public sub attack, and you can see that when they attack, it creates a it depletes the enemy health based on a certain number. Now, using numbers it works, but it's not always the best idea. Always use variables when you can, so that you can easily change multiple values later on without having to go in and change them manually. This is the concept of indirection, which I have brought up several times. So what we can do is we can minus equals, and then we will do attack damage at index of attack num. So the index is going to be the same index as the one that's in here. So select case attack num. So if attack num is equal to 0, then it's going to be punch, and 0 again is going to be 5, and they correspond to each other. And then if he has spinach, then the damage is going to be doubled. And then for this one, it's just going to be attack damage, attack num. So you can see that I've done that for each one of the other cases that could happen. So it's going to be attack damage at index of attack num times 2. Now you could also do spinach multiplier for this, so you don't have to type in 2 each time. But I'll just go ahead and leave that the way it is. So we'll come back here into form1.vb, and we'll leave button attack open for now. And what we need to do is make a function. So private function create event as string, and we need to have some arguments. So by val string name as a string, and then our function is going to return a string. So what we need to do is create an if statement. So by using an if statement, we can use this same create event function for either enemies or Popeye, and we don't have to create a create Popeye event and create enemy event. We can do it just by using one function. So if string name is equal to, and they'll do Popeye dot name. Because name is a constant, we use Popeye instead of our object name. So if it's equal to Popeye's name, then what do we want to do? We want to return, we will return string name, and then we will add some stuff to it. So we'll just say has used, and now what we want to add is the attack. So we'll just enclose it in brackets so they can easily distinguish it from other parts of the log. So what we can do is we can do hero dot attacks at the index of attack num. And you can see that we are getting an error there. So what we need to do is come over here to Popeye, and we need to create attack num as a public variable, which is an integer. And down here, we need to get rid of the as integer that was here and the dim before attack num, so that we're actually using this one instead of creating our own new attack num. So we'll come back into here, form1.vb, and what we need to do is, instead of just using attack num referencing this right here would reference a variable inside this class ourselves. So we need to use the object hero.attackNum. That's why we were getting the error, and not because it wasn't public, although we do need to make it public. If you haven't already done that, then you may want to. So then we'll just close that in brackets, and then we'll type for, and now we need to add the damage. So hero.attack damage at the index of, what index do we want? Well, we want the same thing as this one right here, which would be attack num. So at the index of hero.attack num, and then we will just close this one in brackets too, and we'll just say damage right there. And let's come over here and we'll add a bracket right there. Okay, so if the string name is Popeye, then it's going to return all of this back to the sender. So now we need to make an else. So if it's anything else, which would be a type of enemy, we're just going to return string name, and then we will type has used